We are witnessing the old political order being slayed right in front of us.
Nellies going, kill everybody. I get off when I talk about cutting people's power off. I'm a Nelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one man from Ohio. I just want y'all to open your eyes and wake up, because it has begun.
And what they're trying to do is they're trying to round up people that are living in the streets, because no one will miss them if they sort of disappear. Is this like reminiscent of what Hitler did? When people were sent off and they were told that they're going to be sent to another part of the country where they'll be allowed to live in peace and harmony with other people of their kind. And they were referring to Jews, when in essence they were being destroyed.
Video has surfaced of another officer placing a suspect in a chokehold. On July 14th, police struggled to arrest 22-year-old Ronald Johns at the Lexington Avenue and 125th Street subway station. You could see an arm around the suspect's neck and punches being thrown. Johns was charged with fare evasion, resisting arrest, and trespass. The two officers say they were injured in the struggle. Both are on medical leave. Police Internal Affairs is investigating.
Jesus Christ created heaven and the universe! Jesus Christ created heaven and the universe! You are anti-Christ! You are anti-Christ! You are anti-Christ! You will be destroyed! You will be destroyed! Anti-Christ! Destroy! You are anti-Christ! You are anti-Christ! You'll be destroyed! You'll be destroyed, Antichrist! You'll be destroyed! You are anti-Christ! You'll be destroyed!
A Vietnam War veteran who builds furniture in his garage and gives it to military families in need could now be forced to shut his operation down. A homeowners association is telling our next guest he needs to close up shop or he could be fined up to $1,000.
Here I am, a Vietnam veteran doing something for the military, building furniture and donating it, and Lake of the Pines wants to close me down. I may not paint, sand, cut wood, or screw on the property.
The new mandate cuts deep. Dennis Coker has been building cabinets and dressers for a decade, donating most of them to military families.
Everyone who received my furniture or responsible for dispersing it gave me this gift, and it's something I will probably treasure forever.
Dennis builds to help create a better life for those families at Beale Air Force Base who have very little.
I don't make a profit. The money that I spend is my own money, my own time and talents, and I build it to give to the Beale.
Even as a nonprofit, the Vietnam veteran was told to get a business permit. He did in 2012, but this March, the Lake of the Pines Homeowners Association took it away.
Now they've come back to me and said that I'm producing odors and noxious fumes.
A mother is facing a child neglect charge after she allowed her son to walk to a local park alone this week. She claims her 7-year-old son is old enough, but police disagreed. The park is about a half mile from their Port St. Lucie home, and someone there called police after spotting the boy alone. Officers then took him home, and that's when his mom was arrested, charged with neglect. She says she's completely shocked.
I'm totally dumbfounded by this whole situation. My own bondsman said my parents would have been in jail every day.
The officer claims the boy was unsupervised in an area where many sex offenders reside, and that led to the charges. But the state's attorney's office says there is no law that says exactly how old a child has to be before they can go somewhere unsupervised. It's done on a case-by-case basis.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window, or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave Because you are born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. Prison for your mind.
Dallas police are now investigating 6 incidents of spray paint vandalism since Saturday. In each case, the vandals spray painted the numbers 666 on property and sidewalks. Police are calling this a hate crime. Fox 4's Zahid Arif near one of the taggings. Are there any leads yet, Zahid?
Clarice, not a single one just yet. Detectives went to every location hit so far, like the intersection of St. Paul and Ross here, but not one surveillance camera anywhere caught the vandalism happening. From looking at the taggings and the spray paint, police think the same person or people are responsible for all 6 of the incidents. 4 of them happened in the Oak Lawn area, and 2 of them were spotted downtown. Now, investigators are also looking into 3 possible other incidents. They're calling this a hate crime because at least 2 happened near locations associated with the LGBT community, and also happens to be Pride Month. With no leads so far, investigators are counting on the public to help.
July 31st, 2014, Mark of the Beast, X signs.
Yeah, we want to go back live now to 7 Action News reporter Jonathan Carlson. Jonathan, bring us up to date.
Yeah, pardon us, it's raining pretty hard out here right now. The rain just started, but we've got something going on here in Armada that we haven't seen before. We have FBI agents and local police that are stopping everyone coming in or out of the town right now, out of this village. They're questioning everybody coming in and out about the investigation, and they're also putting X's on everybody's hand, putting X's on everybody's hand, putting X's on everybody's hand, putting X's.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind: peace and security, freedom, and the rule of law.
How would you assess this evening?
This was a stirring address, in my view. Shorter than his father's speech when he announced the New World Order. Shorter than his father's speech when he announced the New World Order.
It's talked time and time again about a new world order. And this is the best chance to begin to establish the new world order.
Warned his people about the Antichrist, about Dajjal, the false Messiah. And the prophet Noah warned his people. But I say to you something that none have said before me. The Antichrist sees with one eye, his left eye. He's blind in the right eye. It looks like a bulging grape. But your Lord is not one-eyed.
The walls between races and tribes, natives and immigrants, Christians and Muslims and Jews cannot stand. These now are the walls we must tear down.
He will call to a false religion and bring something which resembles paradise and hell. But that which resembles paradise will in fact be hell, and that which resembles hell will in fact be paradise. He is the Dajjal, meaning imposter. The prophet further foretold that this liar would start to conquer the world, country by country, fortress by fortress, region by region, town by town. The one eye is one of the ways to recognize the Dajjal. The one eye is the symbol of the Freemasons. It is part of their beliefs and is taken from ancient Egyptian mythology.
I was raised in the valley, there were shadows and death. Got out of life, there were scars I can't forget. Let's get back in school. Saw
down to the shine. Let off it and a brother. Let us see by both eyes. I don't know what it was. They made a piece of him die. Took a bite to the body. Swallowed it with his eye. Stabbed on his face. An impression in the dirt. To your face are silent. Makes a go back up right.
For a long time I didn't feel like I was adequate enough to spread his word. I didn't feel like
spreading his word is not the same thing as being in the Book of the Lamb. I just don't think I'm going to make it.
You have to pray, repent, ask, and yield. P-R-A-Y.
You sound a lot less angry.
We all have our that our demons to fight, but how can I win when I'm paralyzed? They call up on my back, wrap their fingers on my throat. That's what I get for the choices that I made. God forgive me for all my sins. God forgive me for everything. God forgive me for all my sins. God forgive me. God forgive me.
Hell yeah, trying to tell y'all, at this rate, niggas gon' lose. Can't search for water or grow your own food. Tell me what's gon' happen when them stores close. They ain't gon' open up no more. That's the realest shit. Yeah, you gon' feel that. Hunger's your enemy, but you can't kill that. Nigga, wake up. Don't join the army. Kill your own peoples, but fear Illuminatis. And they ain't even real, or are they? But you wouldn't even know, because you partake. Too dumb, if you start to doubt, they already in your mind and coming out your mouth. It's not a trick, nigga, it's a trap. Survival of the fit is what they aiming at. And niggas ain't fit, nope. Fat as hell, fat in mind, body fat as well. Who use most of drugs? Americans. What's in Afghanistan? Heroin. You think that's by mistake? They can't stop that. These last days, you better prepare for war.
You see, global corporations not only fund and develop large technological and military projects here and abroad, they also own the consumer industry and production, as well as all of the important media. By owning the vast majority of what we hear and see on a daily basis, we have been manipulated on a mass scale as to regards to what we believe and desire, both socially and politically. Edward Bernays, the nephew of world-famous psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud, would study group dynamics and become the father of public relations. He authored the book Propaganda in 1928. In it, he described how to intelligently and consciously manipulate the habits and opinions of the masses within a democratic society. He went on to state that those who harness this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government and are the true ruling power. It is they who pull the wires which control the public mind, who harness old social forces and contrive new ways to bind and guide the world.
The average American is distracted, mindless, worried about minuscule things, celebrities, as if it was their own family members. And this is by design, because the powers that be, who own the media, know how our brains work. They know scientifically how the human mind functions. They know about sociology, and they are using the media, and have used the media for decades now, to entertain people with issues that don't really matter. When you have the big news networks covering celebrity issues as if it's the most important thing, it becomes the most important thing. And this is not by accident. This is to keep us out of the way. Because if you're worried about the latest celebrity death, or the latest celebrity couple, or the celebrity breakup, or your sports team having a shot at the Super Bowl or the World Series, there's so much information about those issues that can be discussed that will mesmerize people, and they won't know or care about the real issues that are out there.
Well, I think this is just one more piece of evidence of the degree to which the media, supposedly the watchdogs, has become the gatekeeper of the system.
Mainstream media are, first of all, nearly all of them corporations, nearly all of them now publicly held, part of the whole Wall Street financial system that they're supposed to report about objectively, but they can't. They, right now, in October of 2009, they are celebrating the recovery of the biggest banks in New York and saying that the recession is over. Of course, there are a few problems, like foreclosures are going on, unemployment is rising. All of this is affecting the American people, but it's not affecting the financial elite who also control the media.
Bernays successfully identified the invisible empire which controlled the minds of men. So as the populace is mesmerized and hypnotized by powerful behind-the-scenes forces, as they are distracted by the latest celebrity scandal, the newest cell phone, and their favorite sports team, this network disguises itself, remaining in the shadows. Again, we see people of the highest levels of power involved in the most repulsive and decadent of crimes.
They couldn't care less about the code of conduct that's taught in all major religions about treating others the way that you want to be treated. And then they masquerade, they put this false front on that they're like everybody else, because your average person wants to do right, believes in some sort of a karma, believes in some sort of a divine justice in the universe. And so these people need to put on this front that they're like the average Joe in middle America, that they go to church every once in a while, and that they believe in an afterlife and a divine justice. And so they have to put on this front that they're like everybody else in order to get elected and to be accepted and to not have people look at them suspiciously, because if somebody goes around and openly admits that they were an atheist or that they were of some obscure religion, people aren't going to throw their support behind them as much, and they're not going to trust them as easily.
The reality of this behavior is never revealed to the public, as the media keeps any revelations quiet. Unfortunately, these type of activities continue to this day.
And those people who have been yelling, oh, the UN's going to take over global
Conspiracy
government.
theorists.
They've been crazy, but now they're right.
I said this once or twice, but it bears repeating.
They're right.
You can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it. If you like the plan you have, you can keep it. If you like your plan and you like your doctor, you won't have to do a thing. You keep your plan. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. If you've got health insurance, you can keep it. If you like your health care plan, you will keep your plan. If you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. If you have insurance that you like, then you will be able to keep that insurance. If you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep it. If you want to keep the health insurance you got, you can keep it. If you like the insurance plan you have now, you can keep it. And if you like your insurance plan, you will keep it. So if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your plan, keep your plan. If you like your current insurance, you will keep your current insurance. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you're happy with what you got, nobody's changing it.
Those who can afford to buy insurance but don't, can afford to do it but don't, pay a fine. And if they refuse to pay a fine, there's a threat, as there is with lots of tax fines, there's a threat of jail time. And the Senate removed that provision in the Senate Finance Committee. Do you think it's appropriate to have a threat of jail time for those who refuse to buy insurance?
You know, what I think is appropriate is that in the same way that everybody has to get auto insurance, and if you don't, you're subject to some penalty, that in this situation, if you have the ability to buy insurance, it's affordable, and you choose not to do so, forcing you and me and everybody else to subsidize you, there's a $1,000 hidden tax that
families all across America are burdened by because of the fact that people don't have health insurance, there's nothing wrong with a penalty. Now, what those penalties are, I think they have to be high enough that people don't game the system. On the other hand, I think it's important for us not to be so punitive that people who are having a hard time suddenly find themselves worse off because of health care reform, and that's why we built in some hardship exemptions. There may be situations, relatively rare, where even after the subsidies that are provided, it's still very hard for people to afford to get the health insurance that they need. And we should anticipate and build in those hardship exemptions. But I think the general broad principle is simply that people who are paying for their health insurance aren't subsidizing folks who simply choose not to until they get sick and then suddenly they expect free health insurance. That's a basic concept of responsibility that I think most Americans abide by.
But as the Senate puts its final bill together, and as the House and Senate prepare to vote on after the conference committee, they should know: does the president think jail time is an appropriate?
Well, I'm not sure that's the biggest question
no,
that
but
they're
it's
asking
a
right now.
It's a
so
question.
I think I put out the principle that penalties are appropriate for people who try to free ride the system and force others to pay for their health insurance.
Okay. And only heard the majority party, you'd think, wow, what a great plan. I mean, really. You'd think people are just going to fall all over themselves, and all these adjectives and declarative statements, it just sounds wonderful, until you look inside that bill and you find handcuffs. Now, I'm not talking about figurative handcuffs. I'm talking about criminal penalties. Criminal penalties that have been mentioned by the gentleman from Texas, criminal penalties that have been mentioned time and again on this floor. We've heard from the best and the brightest all afternoon, and not a one of them have answered why it is you have to criminalize people to coax them into a plan that's fabulous. It makes no sense. And this isn't my words. This is actually coming from the Joint Committee on Taxation, a letter that was written, ironically, with Chairman Charlie Rangel as the chairman of that committee, released 48 hours ago, that says, in fact, if you don't comply with the individual mandate, what happens to you? You can be subject to 5 years in prison, and you can be subject to $250,000 in fines. And the other side, with all due respect, with all the adjectives and all the flourishing speech, have failed to answer that question. And I submit to you, if we listen today, if we listen to the remainder of this debate, they will be silent in terms of a good answer as to why it is
if I were the devil,
you need to criminalize people to coax them into a plan.
If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas
a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Restoring a sense of responsibility and accountability to our federal budget. Without significant change to steer away from ever-expanding deficits and debt, we are on an unsustainable course.
Well, a new revelation from the front lines of the new health care law. A contractor awarded more than $1 billion of taxpayer money to process the health insurance paperwork. And one former employee says she spent her days doing virtually nothing. She says she actually quit because there was so little to do.
Our supervisor, I can't speak for the other ones, but ours said if we process 1 or 2 of these applications a month, then we've done our job.
You've got to spend time dealing with somebody who's not causing any other trouble other than the fact that they were trying to make a living for their families.
Wow, the president says law enforcement has better things to do than enforce immigration laws. Is that what he's indicating? Those comments a day after we learned Immigration and Customs released 36,000 illegal convicts awaiting deportation.
These are people who not only are here illegally, but while here illegally committed a crime, got convicted of the crime, served time in jail for the crime, and now are supposed to be deported. The problem is that he has exercised his discretion to keep them free, out of jail, during the period that they're waiting to be deported. Do you think they're going to show up for the deportation?
Everything is backwards. Good is bad and bad is good.
Dana, well, a new report shows just how badly Christians are under siege in the Arab world. The number of Christians in the Middle East has plunged to just 10% of the overall population. This is down from 25% in 2011.
The church in America is going to suffer so terribly. And we laugh now, but they will come after us. They will come after our children. They will close the net around us while we are playing soccer mom and soccer dad. While we are arguing over so many little things and mesmerized by so many trinkets, the net even now is closing around you and your children and your grandchildren, and it does not cause you to fear.
Good is bad and bad is good.
Sir, Pastor, you want to get the rescue organization? Okay, he's going to jail. Okay, this is...
You will be isolated from society, as has already happened.
Man, you all need to know the law. And since you don't want to know the law, Gladys, look. You need a camera. Look, man. Over here like I said to do, right? You understand me? I'm not going to ask you again. Look, man, calm down, all right? I'm calm. I'm very calm. But what he's just done, this is not even called a Terry. This is not even a Terry stop. This is not even considered a Terry stop because you have no probable cause to harass me.
Anyone who tries to run for office who actually believes the Bible will be considered a lunatic until finally we are silenced. We will be called things that we're not and persecuted not for being followers of Christ, but for being radical fundamentalists who do not know the true way of Christ, which of course is love.
You know, it's disturbing other people. It's everything for people. I'm advising you. Okay. I'm an ex-police officer myself. Okay. What he's doing is preaching the word of God.
Okay. The most coveted right we have as American citizens, the right to express our ideas and beliefs. We're not being arrested for
You'll go down as the greatest bigots and haters of mankind and history.
We live in a nation where we have freedom. We live in a nation where our freedoms should be protected.
And I was standing on that sidewalk speaking to people waiting in line about the important message that's written right on the Liberty Bell, which is from the book of Leviticus, which is proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all the inhabitants thereof.
Our freedoms should be protected and not taken away.
On a year probation, I have to now go down to the U.S. probation office tomorrow by 2 p.m. and register, and not only get permission for being able to exercise my rights in public, but anywhere I go, I need to now get permission from the U.S. probation office, and they could deny me for whatever reason they so desire.
They've already come after your children, and for most of you, they got them. They got them through the public schools and indoctrination, and the university and indoctrination, and then you wonder why your children come out not serving the Lord. It's because you fed them right into the devil's mouth. So little by little the net is closing around, and then it's not little by little. Look how fast things are going downhill just in a matter of weeks.
Clear on what the parameters are.
So we can
okay?
preach on the sidewalks, not on the street. Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
All right.
Y'all be careful.
All right.
Unreal, man.
I'm going to ask you to leave. Leave this public sidewalk? I'm going to ask you to leave Cherry Street, Mulberry Street, and this immediate area. I'm going to ask you to leave.
Excuse me, the officer that talked to us earlier, who said he was in charge, said we were allowed to stand on this public sidewalk.
Okay, I'm his superior. I'm asking you to leave the downtown area in the confinements of Cherry Block.
Okay, and if we don't...
broken the law, sir? Let me ask you, who's going to keep up with the kids?
Lieutenant Woodford.
Are you able to keep up with the kids? Because I'm about to put somebody in jail.
Okay, so if we don't leave, you're going to arrest us?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we need to know.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
I said we're going to leave.
Let's go. Well, you better let's go.
Yeah, we're going to leave right now.
Okay.
I just had to ask.
Okay,
I
goodbye.
had to get that answer. Well,
Goodbye.
Can we walk? You guys are in a way right now.
Goodbye.
Okay, let's go. Okay.
All I want to know is who's going to watch the kids. Because I don't want to put the kids in.
Sergeant, what happened to this public sidewalk? We'll walk. We'll walk.
Okay.
Walk by.
I want you to leave the downtown area now.
Okay. All right, we're going.
Goodbye.
Feel sorry. We're the criminals. We're the criminals. Can't even talk in America. Can't talk in America.
Goodbye.
You can't preach in America. It's against the law, folks. I tell you, you're losing your...
Hey, I don't know if you're doing the right thing, but I appreciate your passion.
Anybody I want.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Not everybody sits out.
Not against the law. Not against the law. There we go. I guess it is against the law, isn't it? It's against the law.
Yeah, you want me to take that?
There we go.
Matter of weeks. But at the same time, know this. Persecution is always meant for evil, but God always means it for good.
We're obstructing us. Your wagon, they're all under arrest. They're all under arrest for what? What law have we violated? Are we all under arrest? Come on. Are we all under arrest? We're under arrest. Everyone. Michael, we're not trying to scare you. That you can stand up.
Well, stand up. Come on, let's
And is it not better to suffer in this life, to have an extra weight of glory in heaven? You must settle this in your mind. This is the one thing I want to say over and over. Do not believe. Down through history, you have a wrong idea of martyrdom and persecution. You think that these men were persecuted and martyred for their sincere faith in Jesus Christ. That was the real reason, but no one heard that publicly. They were martyred, and they were persecuted as enemies of the state, as child molesters, as bigots, as narrow-minded, stupid people who had fallen for a ruse and can contribute nothing to society. Your suffering will not be noble.